Good morning. It is a beautiful day today in North Carolina. And today I am hopefully going to photograph some migrants. Where I am right now, there are reports of two hummingbirds just flew over. There are reports of migrants that have been seen here. It is the last week in August, and my goal is simply to walk along this road and stop at some places that I know birds have been reported and see if I can find them and photograph them. So come along and enjoy this event. If you look behind me, it's an overcast day. These are one of my favorite days to go out and photograph birds. This is a nice soft light. You don't have, as you look at me, there are no shadows on me at all. This is one of the best photography situations that you can have for a wildlife photographer. And I don't care what it is, landscapes, wild mammal photography, bird photography, plant photography. This is a perfect day. If you have an overcast day like today, you should be out photographing something. Now, this does create a huge problem for us as bird photographers or animal photographers, is that we need to ratchet up our ISO a little bit. So right now I am shooting at an ISO of 3200, and that's giving me a shutter speed at 1250th of a second. Now I have a golden rule. You should be shooting twice your focal length. So if you have a focal length, in this case 600 millimeters, you should be shooting at 1/1200th of a second. So right now I am shooting at 1250. That's the minimum I should be shooting at. And the reason why you do this is that you want to stop two factors. One is camera movement. So camera movement is as you're holding your camera, you get a little bit of movement, and that happens less on a tripod, but still occurs on a tripod, where you're holding it and there's just a little bit of movement, and that movement is shown up in the picture as a distortion. The second problem that you run into is your subject could move. So if you're taking a picture of an elk, for example, and you're taking this picture and all of a sudden its ear's moving, that ear will look blurry or out of focus, or the bird will turn its head while you're taking the picture. And it doesn't have to be dramatic, but you can see that little bit of distortion, out of focus. It just doesn't look right. And to stop that is to increase your shutter speed. Now, if you're in a situation where you're on a pelagic trip, this will be a trip where you're in the middle of the ocean taking pictures of flying birds, you need to have a much faster shutter speed, a minimum of 1/2500 or 1/3000th of a second. So that's the number one reason I think that a lot of people have problems with bird photography, or the photos aren't going well, is that they are not shooting a fast enough shutter speed. And there is no downside from you using a shutter speed of 1/8000th or 7,000th of a second, because that doesn't affect the photo as far as wildlife photography goes. Well, first bird of the day, a common yellowthroat. These birds are fairly common here in North Carolina, especially around wet, swampy areas here. They are a wobbler-sized bird. They are very, very active. They seem to be always moving. They'll hop up on a branch, you'll have a few seconds to take a picture, and then they hop down. So this bird was a female. It was up there for, like I said, a couple of seconds. I got these pictures. It's still not a lot of bird activity, but it was cool last night, and I don't know if that's having some impact on it. But still, bird number one, common yellowthroat. Well, animal number two is a Monarch Butterfly. They're normally fairly common. This year the numbers are way down, but it's still exciting to get animal number two is the Monarch Butterfly. The birding's been really tough today, and as you can look behind me, I'm losing my cloud cover. So I'm really hoping things kick up really fast pretty soon here, but I'm going to keep swinging for it. But here are the photos of the Monarch Butterfly. So one place I'm seeing most of the birds I'm seeing today are up on these telephone wires. Here's a telephone pole right here. The wires to me are an awful place to take pictures of birds. First, the bird is backlit, the sky is just blue, you got this man-made cable coming through there, and then you have the bird sitting on it. I really do not like those pictures. Second picture I dislike the most is birds sitting on fences. I really want to catch these birds in their natural environment and on plants or something like that. I think they're much better pictures than photographing birds up on telephone wires. And I think one of the reasons why these birds are up on these telephone wires and why they're so jumpy is I was just talking to somebody down here and they said they got horrific rain last night here. And I think that's really affected the birds, and that's the reason why they're so jumpy, so edgy, and why they're up on the telephone wires is they're trying to warm up and dry up a little bit. So that's probably one of the reasons why I'm having a really hard time photographing these birds. It has not been a good day out here at all. I'm not seeing the activity I was really expecting to see. I had a good friend of mine come out here yesterday and he saw all kinds of migrants. I haven't seen any, but that could be because of the rain last night. It could be all kinds of issues that we had here. This yellow shirt is not helping me at all, I don't think. It's just not been a very productive day out here birding. I'm glad I came out. I did have a good time, but I was really expecting a lot more than I saw. So I'm going to end the video here. If you got anything out of it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel because that really helps us in the YouTube world. Become Patreon supporter. Your support allows us to keep doing this. My name is Leahy. I want to thank you for watching.